Welcome to the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing for Friday, March 13th. Over the last 30 days, we've seen precipitation in parts of the north and over parts of the southern areas of the Great Basin. However, most of this precipitation has been well below normal for the time of year. We have had some areas just above normal in parts of the Arizona Strip and far southern Nevada. Looking at our snowfall, we have had some new snowfall over the last 72 hours with storms moving in from the south. So we have had some new snow over central Sierra, also over the higher terrain of southern Nevada and into southern Utah. And these areas have been the areas of the Great Basin that have been very dry recently. You can see our snow depth in the image on the right. However, looking at snowpack, you can see most of the areas into central Idaho, eastern Idaho, Wyoming, and Utah are seeing near normal snowpack. However, we are seeing below normal snowpack over the rest of southern Idaho into Nevada. The lowest areas are notably the Sierra into western Nevada, where conditions have been very dry over the last couple of months. Looking at our evaporative demand drought index, the driest conditions obviously are in California and western Nevada, where conditions have been the driest, but also over parts of southern areas of the Great Basin. However, we do not have any significant areas of drought across the Great Basin, but we are still watching California and western Nevada. However, the weather pattern is changing, so we will see moisture moving into these areas. Looking at our satellite image from this morning, you can see an area of low pressure off the southern California coast, and that will be moving slowly eastward, tapping into quite a bit of moisture and bringing showers to, again, some of the very dry spots of southern Nevada, southern Utah, and the Arizona Strip. We will also see additional cold fronts dropping down from the north, which will help interact with this moisture, bringing a significant drop in temperatures and significant moisture for a period of time here over the next week. Looking at our weather conditions for later today, again, you can see that moisture mainly over southern areas of the Great Basin as that area of low pressure moves eastward into southern California. Again, we also have that area of low pressure dropping into the Pacific Northwest, so we will see some clouds and possibly some light showers up across central Idaho as well with that system. We'll also see winds start to increase over northern areas of the Great Basin and southern areas as well with both of these systems as they move through. So you can see from the transport winds, the strongest winds are over the southern two-thirds of the region, strongest in the higher elevations of the Sierra into western Nevada. We actually do have a fire weather watch out for the stronger winds and the dry conditions we've seen. Again, this is mainly in the dormant grasses and some of these spots that have been really on the dry side. Otherwise, just windy conditions across all areas of Nevada and the southern half of Utah. Mixing heights will be relatively high. The only lower spots will be over central Idaho into the northern areas of the Utah mountains. As we move into Saturday, this first system starts to exit off to the east in the south. However, that cold front drops south over the northern half of the Great Basin, bringing again gusty winds and showers to the northern half of the region, along with a significant drop in temperatures. We will also see the ventilation index still remain high on Saturday due to those gusty winds. You can see the strongest winds on Saturday will be located over parts of central and eastern Nevada into western Utah and also in the far south. So we will see wind gusts above 30 or 40 miles per hour with these systems moving through, along with, again, a significant drop in temperatures. We'll probably see temperatures drop about 10 to 20 degrees across the Great Basin as we move through this weekend. Mixing heights will remain high, however, as these systems move through. Looking at on Sunday, we have the area of low pressure over northern California. And again, this is continuing to drop further south, that cold front, and this will push some of the moisture off to the east on Sunday. We will see good ventilation over parts of Nevada and the Arizona Strip, but poor ventilation as winds decrease over the rest of Idaho into Utah. Looking at the strongest winds on Sunday, we're looking at mainly over the western half of Utah back into Nevada still, and so good mixing heights in these areas. We will have some lower mixing heights over parts of Idaho, Wyoming, and northern Utah where the winds aren't quite as strong. And looking at the forecast clearing index, we will see high clearing indices over the southern half of Utah on Friday, generally statewide on Saturday with the exception of some of the areas that have some lighter winds, and then fairly high clearing indices on Sunday with the exception of parts of the Uinta Basin back into the central and southern Utah mountains. 3-day forecast amount of precipitation has certainly changed a lot. We're seeing many wet areas across the country, but in the Great Basin, the wettest spots over the next few days will be over southern Nevada and into the southern and eastern half of Utah. We'll also see some of that wetter weather up across Idaho and into the Sierra with those cold fronts dropping south. As we move into next week, we will continue with this wet pattern. We have a fairly large area of low pressure off the west coast, which will continue to push moisture into the Great Basin. So again, wet conditions, mostly cloud cover over Utah on Monday, and we're looking at the moisture remaining generally over the western areas of the Great Basin. We will still have some breezy south winds out ahead of this low, so good dispersion across much of Nevada and Utah. On Tuesday, this area of low pressure starts to move further to the east, so we will see some showers moving in across many areas of Utah and Nevada up into southern Idaho. Again, gusty winds and good dispersion across Nevada and Utah and the Arizona Strip. On Wednesday, this area of low pressure really not going anywhere anytime soon, so we'll continue to see that wet weather across the Great Basin Wednesday with those breezy winds, and on Thursday as well. So temperatures will likely be dropping down to below normal area-wide across the Great Basin, along with a more significant increase in wet weather as we move into the weekend, and then again from mid to late next week through next weekend. So we are looking at a significant change in pattern across the Great Basin. Looking at our precipitation totals, this is just from Monday morning through Wednesday morning. So again, a break for Utah as we move into later on Sunday and Monday, but we will have that wet weather moving back into Nevada and California. So again, those drought-stricken areas of California that have seen very little precipitation in the last few months will be seeing a significant increase in precipitation here over the next week to 10 days. We will see that precipitation again return to Utah, but this is only through Wednesday morning, so mid to late next week that precipitation returns. Looking at the 8 to 14-day outlook, taking us from March 20th through the 26th, we will continue with this pattern change of below normal temperatures and wet conditions almost region-wide. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back on Monday for the latest updates.